First signify by saying aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion fails. All right. Chair Locke.
I have a motion to amend with several changes. I'd like to move item 16A 1 through 3, the ARPA update, to move it forward to respect Kathy's time. If we can move that.
Kathy is not going to be here.
Well, then never mind.
actually.
Ignore that. We don't need to move that. I would still seek to amend to move budget amendments 16, is that 16? No, 15, P, Q, R, S, T, U, and V. I'd like to move those forward so that we can guarantee that we have enough people here to vote on items that need 15 members voting in favor. I would like to move, again, that's 15 P, Q, R, S, T, U, and V. I would ask to move those to immediately after the audit presentation. So make that 12B,
Okay.
CD, all of that.
Is there a second to that? A motion and a second. All in favor?
I had one
Oh,
more,
you have
sorry.
one more? Go ahead, sorry.
I would also ask to move communications to near the end, make it before 16B. So move communications to after item 7, or after item 15Z and before our closed session.
Okay, move communications just ahead of the closed session. Okay.
And that is the end of my motion.
Is there a second to that? A second. All in favor of amending this agenda, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Sorry. Okay, yes, sorry. Yeah. So you had Hannah Friedman as the second, right? Yeah. Okay, all right. Mr. Farney?
Yeah, I would like to move item 15Z to immediately following the budget amendments, because I believe that's what most of the public is here to see.
All right, is there a second to that? Okay, we have a second from Ed. Go ahead.
This would go after the budget amendments, directly after the budget amendments.
Okay. My only point of discussion to that is all of the other items on this agenda are the work of the county board that we've been elected to do, and this one item is symbolic at best, and I'd like it to come after we do the work that we were elected to do. So I'll be a no on that motion to amend, but I'm one.
We have a motion and a second for JJ's amendment. All in favor of JJ's amendment signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign.
Nay.
Motion fails. Are there other changes in the agenda that you folks would like to make? I'm sure that I will get confused at some point with all of these, but you'll help me out. All right, we all in favor of the amended agenda, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, then we have an agenda. Thank you. All right. All right, can I get a motion to approve adoption of Resolution 2026-149, appointing China Figueroa Dixon as a county board member in District 6 to replace Samantha Carter for an unexpired term ending November 30th, 2026. Moved by Locke, second by Ares. Any discussion?
Sorry, I'm hearing from people that there's no audio on the live stream. Just wanted to pass that on.
I will pass that on to IT. Just a second. Let's pause for just a moment while I talk with the folks. Sorry? Okay. I think that has been corrected now. All right. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Chief Deputy Patton will now administer the oath of office. Oh, excuse me. Clerk Ammons will administer the oath of office.
We'll say I after me, and then say your name. Okay.
I, China Figueroa Dixon,
Having been appointed
to the position of
County Board Member District 6
County Board Member District 6
in the state of Illinois,
in the state of Illinois,
in the county of Champaign,
aforesaid,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the state of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the state of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully
discharge the duties
of the position of County Board Member to the best of my ability. Congratulations.
Thank you so much, Aaron.
Congratulations and welcome to the board.
Thank you so much.
All right, the dates and times of our next regular meetings are listed on the agenda. Can I get a motion to approve adoption of Resolution 2026-150, honoring county employees for years of service? Motion by Manish-Thurnath, second by Sullard. Would the policy chair like to read the resolution?
Yes. Resolution number 2026-150, resolution honoring county employees for years of service. Whereas it is the vision of the Champaign County Board to be a recognized leader in local government, where every official employee has a personal devotion to excellence in public service and embraces the highest standards of ethics and integrity, which enables Champaign County to provide the best customer services to its citizens. And whereas one element of pursuing this vision is communicating to employees that their service to Champaign County is valued and appreciated. And whereas Champaign County employees admirably serve the people of Champaign County with full commitment to the responsibilities of county offices, work in partnership with fellow employees and county officials, and have dedication to the best interests of all the people of Champaign County. And whereas the Champaign County Board wishes to recognize the dedication and service of the employees who have reached 5, 10, 15-year milestones in July 2026, now, therefore, be it resolved that the County Board of Champaign County hereby recognizes each of the aforementioned Champaign County employees as an asset to the citizens of Champaign County and expresses gratitude and sincere appreciation for their years of service. Presented, adopted, approved, and recorded this 23rd day of July, AD 2026. John Berge, Board of Review, 5 years of service. Amanda Schrock, Supervisor of Assessments, 5 years of service. Stephanie Clemens, State's Attorney, 10 years of service. And Casey Donovan, Sheriff, 15 years of service.
All right, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
One second.
sorry.
I believe the State's Attorney would like to talk to us about Stephanie Clemens, if she would like to approach.
Certainly. I did not see you, Julia. Sorry. My apologies.
I'm sorry. I didn't tell her I was going to make her come up here and hold on to me. As she does. So everyone, this is Stephanie Clemens, and she is sunshine. And she She started out in the circuit clerk's office, actually, and then moved over to my office as the receptionist first you were the receptionist and then moved into logging, and now is an admin legal secretary in our child support enforcement division. So as the receptionist, Stephanie was the first face that people would see and the first voice they would hear when they called in. And, people who come to the state's attorney's office oftentimes are not there for good circumstances. They have issues, they have concerns, they are in crisis. And Stephanie has always been a kind and thoughtful and caring voice and face, representing the office and helping people as they were coming in to deal with their variety of issues. And she moved up then, again, into our logging and then into our child support enforcement division. For those of you who don't know, we have a division, we're funded by the state, and we provide child support enforcement services for indigent parents. And Stephanie is one of the support staff in that area. She works directly with the parents, the custodial and non-custodial parents, sometimes with the children who come in also, and again, provides them with a calm, treats, lots of treats, provides them with care and comfort as they're going through a system that is unfamiliar and difficult and stressful. And she does that for me every day when I come in the office and Stephanie is there. She always has a smile and a hug and bright colors and joy. And it's true. I am so lucky to have her on my team and so grateful that her entire family, family, is back there here to support her and share in the congratulations for her years of service to Champaign County. So I appreciate always when you do this, you highlight employees and give us an opportunity to thank them for their work. I am immensely grateful for having Stephanie on my team and in my office every day, and hope that that continues for years and years to come. So thank you, Stephanie.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, I love you. You make me cry.
All right. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Congratulations. Thank you for your service. All right. Moving on to public input. The first slip that I have is Jeff Brownfield. Come up to the microphone. You have 5 minutes.
Thank you. Didn't want to be here today, but nonetheless I am. Members of the county board, my name is Jeff Brownfield. I'm a lifelong resident of Champaign County, and for the past 3 months, I've served as the Champaign County Republican chair. I have significant concerns regarding the administration of the November 2026 election. I believe the federal indictments involving the county clerk and members of his family will create a substantial distraction that could negatively affect the administration of the election. To help ensure fairness and maintain public confidence, I urge this board, I urge each of you to request the oversight of the election from the Illinois State Board of Elections, working in conjunction with the Department of Justice and other federal officials. Even before the current indictments, there have been concerns regarding the conduct of elections in Champaign County. As has been widely reported, the Illinois Board of Elections formally reprimanded the Champaign County Clerk on the administration of previous elections. In addition, voters have experienced technical issues that have delayed or interrupted the voting process. We are all aware of them. Independent oversight would help ensure that if the clerk is required to be away from his office to appear in court, to provide for his legal defense, the election will continue to be administered efficiently and lawfully. Let's be clear. Some will undoubtedly attempt to compare the current situation with other elected officials who have faced legal controversies. Those comparisons are disingenuous at best. Political corruption has unfortunately existed throughout our nation's history, but those past cases have no bearing on the responsibility that we have and this board has to conduct a fair election come November. The issue before us is not politics. It is public confidence. The residents of Champaign County deserve to know that their election will be conducted fairly and professionally. At this point, anything short of that independent state and federal oversight will undermine the public confidence and the integrity of the election and will leave a lasting stain on the public's perception of the fairness. In conclusion, I respectfully urge this board to take proactive steps now, right now, to protect the election process and the confidence of the citizens that you all serve. I request again that you make a request from the Illinois State Board of Elections as well as the Department of Justice to oversee our pending election in November of 2026. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next is Gabriel Dunn.
Thank you. My name is Gabriel Dunn, and I am a resident of Urbana. I was going to have some previous remarks, but that is going to have to wait to a different council meeting because there's more. There's a pertinent issue at hand. Regarding the indictments of both Carol and Aaron Ammons, the courts are the place where guilt and innocence are determined. That's been universally recognized by both Champaign County Democrats and Champaign County Republicans, as well as the Illinois State House, who have now formed a bipartisan investigative committee on these allegations as far as state. The resolution at hand is not, we're not talking about criminality. We're not here to be judge and jury. It's not about being judge and jury. There have been issues since Mr. Ammons has been elected where votes have been suppressed. And it's been kind of like reversed. I've looked at the data since Clerk Ammons has been in, and I have noticed that the number of registered Republicans are just dropped. But when I've talked to like neighbors, even in progressive Urbana, it doesn't sound like there's a drop in actual registration or people changing parties. I moved here earlier, and I had gotten my housing earlier, and I tried registering for the primary. I'm like the only Republican in my house. I live in Chairman Locke's district, you know. Republicans are very hard to find. Like when I run in 2028 for precinct committeeman, my election's gonna be easy because it'll probably just be me voting for myself. So all of when I requested a Republican ballot for the primary, everyone in my house except me got their ballots. When I called the clerk's office, they had no explanation whatsoever. I would like to know where my ballot went because that was my right to vote. I had the right to vote in my party's primary, and I should be able to want to feel safe in voting in my general election for the candidates that I choose. I've heard people, including board members, pulling their race card. I'm just gonna be blunt about this. In 2024, I mean, you might not seem like outside of, you know, very progressive bubbles. You guys lost a presidential election because the American people are sick and tired of identity politics. This is not about race. This is not about race at all. This has to do if, say, Farney was county clerk and he was up for, and the same thing was happening to him. I would be asking for the same exact thing, regardless of race and regardless of party. I've heard Mr. Ammons in the past say that his whole goal was to stop Republican voter suppression. And, you know, but I do not remember Mark Sheldon or Gordy Holton saying anything about him wanting to suppress Democrat votes, or like he just wanted, they were just pushing for a fair election that was, you know, abided by the law. A fair election means everyone has the right to vote. No one has the right to cheat. Thank you.
Thank you. Next slip is for Stuart Levy.
Hello, yeah, I'm Stuart Levy from Southwest Champaign. And I would like to speak on the proposed resolution that Clerk Ammons be removed from his post. I think it's a terrible idea. I hope that you all, that anybody of conscience, will find it easy to vote no to this. First, like any person, Aaron Ammons has to be assumed innocent until proven guilty. That's the way the law works here, fortunately. Second, there could be a temptation, and some people have said, you know, kind of where there's smoke, there's fire. There wouldn't be an accusation if there weren't something really problematic behind it. One could wish that were true. First, it's all too easy. You know, people say a prosecutor can get a grand jury to indict a ham sandwich. It happens. Second, let's see. If you look, for example, at the New York Times this week, there are a couple of articles that have been following up on others that were looking at indictments, federal indictments brought under this administration, in particular for related to claims of interference with ICE agents, with federal agents. Nationally, about half of them were either withdrawn or were rejected by judges. In Northern District of Illinois, which is not this district, essentially all of them were. There are a lot of federal indictments that are not worth the paper they're printed on. Finally, it's not even the business of this board to decide whether Aaron Ammons, as an elected official, should serve in it. And we should remember that I hope we also look at all the improvements that Aaron Ammons has made in his years as county clerk. I've served as an election judge both before and after. I've served as a voter, of course, like I hope we all have. It is vastly easier to vote than it had been. Participation is up. Students on campus are actually able to vote instead of being squeezed into some tiny little office that doesn't accommodate them. I'm very impressed with Ammons' service, and I am unimpressed with the accusation against him. He should continue to serve, and the board should not even wave its fist in the direction of telling him to get lost. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next slip is for Persephone Hernandez Vote.
Hi, everyone. My name is Persephone Hernandez Vote, and I work for a nonprofit in town. I wanted to talk a little bit about immigration. And as you all know, In June, as you're probably aware, 43,000 people in the United States have been seized from their homes and detained. That's bigger than the population of Urbana. And if you can picture every person you know in Urbana disappearing and the impact that that would have on your life, you can see that this doesn't just affect the person who is taken, it affects every single person connected to them, their family, their friends, their loved ones. Some of the other things that we've been seeing have been deaths. Lorenzo Salgado Araujo, his son, learned through a video posted on social media that he had been killed. And he said, "I recognized him immediately, not from his appearance, but from his voice, crying for help as he lay on the street bleeding out." The young father, Juan Sebastian Duran Guerrero, who was 26 years old, his 3-year-old in bluey pajamas watched her father die in front of her. And as an as yet unnamed 28-year-old in Florida who was so scared of ICE that he ran into oncoming traffic. I work for people who have those same fears. I work for people who have that level of fear of immigration enforcement. When these people are taken from their families, there's a ripple effect. Infant children whose electricity is shut off in 100-degree weather, who have no financial support because since they are not US citizens, they are not eligible for help. Women being sexually coerced by landlords who know that they are living alone. Children with PTSD. Immigrants are incredibly important to our county. 1 in 10, or by some metrics, 1 in 7 people in this county are immigrants. And they are our children's classmates, they are our coworkers, they are the people in our lives too. And these people are living in fear. They've been getting pulled over by ICE. Cars have been blocked in. People have been followed and stalked. And there isn't very much that Champaign County seemingly can do against this. The Illinois Trust Act is already a tremendous protection for people, but what else can a county do? Well, there's a loophole in the Trust Act in the form of automated license plate readers. They are essentially, they exist to monitor interstate things across different boundaries and borders, across county lines, across city lines. And we know that ALPRs like Flock share data with ICE. The city of Dayton, Ohio recently decided to end their contract with Flock for this reason. We know that in 5 days, there were 135,000 searches from other agencies on the cameras that were installed in Champaign County. And again, we know that they cooperate with immigration enforcement, with many cameras pointed specifically targeting those areas in our community. So if it feels powerless to do anything about what is happening and how immigrant communities are being affected, that is something that can be done, is not allowing automatic license plate readers in our community and in our county. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next up is Jim McGuire.
Good evening, everybody. Nice to see you again. My name is Jim McGuire. I live in Champaign. I'm past county board member and past Champaign County Republican chair. So I've had a lot of dealing with the clerk's office. I won't go into all that. I'm here in support of the resolution to remove the clerk, to resign. First, I want to start with a quote from JFK so we understand what's most important, I believe. I've spoken many times this fall about the need for a new spirit in Washington, a spirit of dedication and enthusiasm for progress, a willingness to meet new challenges of the new frontier of the 60s. If we are successful this fall, such as program will be accomplished only with a government that is honest, a government that is efficient, a government that is dedicated solely to the public interest. I pledge that kind of government to the American people, as I said, John F. Kennedy. I don't know what other board we would bring an issue like this to for a county official than the county board. You have the responsibility to make that determination. In my day serving the public, the people of Champaign County, with integrity and honor wasn't just part of your oath. It was a reason you served, whether Democrat or Republican. You sought to maintain the public's trust that their tax dollars and your office would be used to serve them and build a better Champaign County, not to advance your own self-interest through gifts and political favors. Your no vote of this resolution will confirm to the public that your political party and protecting your friends are more important than the public trust. It will signal that the bond of confidence the public has placed in our elections and in the elected officials who are supposed to serve them has been broken, and that you are more interested in serving yourselves. I know some of you will say, as I'll agree, that you're innocent until proven guilty by a jury of your peers. This is true. This is different. This is about what level of perceived corruption and graft that is acceptable for our elected officials that represent our communities. A federal grand jury heard evidence for more than 16 months about fraud, kickbacks, and from state grants and obstruction of justice that started back in 2017. A jury returned 10 counts of indictment from Carol Ammons and 2 counts for Aaron Ammons for an investigation that started during the Biden administration, and a grand jury that started before the 2026 primary. It will then be up to the people to decide for themselves, depending on your vote, with their votes in November, whether they'll acknowledge and accept this change in the bond of trust between the public and their elected officials and its consequences. Will the public accept a community and future led by corruption, graft, and self-interest as acceptable, or will they choose one built on trust, integrity, and confidence that the future of their families and those who may choose to live here will be protected with fairness, justice, and a brighter future? Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you. Next is Charlisa Hart.
Hi, my name is Ms. Hart, and I'm a longtime resident of Champaign County. I was born at Berners City Hospital, 1970. Removing the county clerk before the proper trial breaks the core American rule of innocent until proven guilty, and the rest resolution sets a bad, unfair public example. Fair trial needed. Every person must have a full investigation and a trial before any official removal happens. Bad public example. Acting without proof makes the government unjust and harms public trust in our local laws. Against core values. Skipping steps to punish someone early goes directly against American legal rights. Constitutional and legal principles. Due process, the Fourth Amendment of the U.S. Constitution guarantees that every person every person shall be deprived of life, liberty, and property without due process of law. Presumption of innocence. The cornerstone of American legal system requires that an individual is treated as innocent until proven guilty through the court of law and tested evidence. Taking punitive action before an official investigation undermines public trust and subverts the established legal framework. An indictment does not mean guilt, and it does not equal conviction. Joe Wilson, you seem like a seasoned vet. I'm very disappointed. You've been here a long time to know the structural harms of proclaiming people guilty before a trial has been presented with evidence and facts. I urge this board not to participate in a contemporary public lynching. Be patient, Mr. Wilson. You're old enough to know patience. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can
All
we
right.
get a point of order about interrupting and
Yes, no applause from the crowd, please. This is just
not
public comment.
I mean, from the county board. I think that's wildly inappropriate.
Sorry, I had not overlooked that. Brian Dolinar is up next.
Good evening. My name is Brian Doliner. I live in Urbana. I'm here to speak about flock. There's a growing national movement against flock, which sells license plate readers and profits from them. The sheriff has LPRs, and there's a circle of folks in town who are mobilizing around flock cameras at the city, now at the county level, and that's why a few of us are here tonight. There's been a lot of bad press about flock recently. There was a couple articles in a publication called 404 Media, and there was a case in Danville where ICE was looking to arrest an immigrant. There was a woman who was trying to seek an abortion, and flock cameras were used by police to track these people down. Some 80 cities now have rejected flock contracts, and we'd like to have a few of those rejected here in Champaign-Urbana. The CEO, Garrett Langley, the CEO of Flock, referred to those critical of Flock and the growing deflock movement, referred to them as terrorists. And in the context of growing crackdowns on activists that's going on nationally, this is especially disturbing. It's been cited, there was a recent article in Mother Jones, dozens of police officers have been using flock cameras to track down ex-girlfriends and their boyfriends and stalk them. In one case in McHenry County, there was William Kopp, who was a police officer, who was stalking his ex-girlfriend with flock cameras. He got, despite being fired, he got hired as a police chief of Holiday Hills. Closer to home, although not flock related, is, I think, a sign that this could happen here. The case of Jerry Sandage, who was a University of Illinois police officer who in 2018, there were charges brought against him. He just pled out to 25 years. He was using police records to track down women. He's been charged with 4 total cases. One case he's pled guilty to. That's Jerry Sandage, who's been in the press recently. Anybody who's been here for a number of years might remember Kurt Yort, Urbana police officer who was accused of sexual assault. It was given to a special prosecutor. He was not charged, but this eventually led to community outrage and passage of the Urbana Police Review Board. So there's, I think, a growing national movement and now a local movement against flock. You're seeing signs up around town, perhaps against them. So I wanted to just draw your attention, other folks that have intelligent things to say about this. And while I have your time as well, I wanted to bring up the ongoing crisis in the county jail. There was a third death in 4 years of David Henley, who passed at the county jail while in custody. I FOIA'd the sheriff, and he says, well, he died in the hospital. He wasn't in, he wasn't in somehow in our custody, but there are cops standing outside his room. The sheriff's responsible for anybody in custody of the county jail, despite $10 million being spent, half of that of COVID money, ARPA money. These are ongoing situations in the county jail. David Henley passed. George Christopher passed away in May of 2024. Raymond Gwynn in September of 2023. There's an ongoing crisis of locking people up. This law and order, lock them up and throw away the key mentality is not working, and we need to think about alternatives. Lastly, I'm here to say the Ammons track record speaks for itself. Hands off Carol, hands off Aaron. Thank you.
All right, next is Sanford Hess.
Hello, my name is Sanford Hess. I'm a Champaign County resident. I'm here tonight mostly to cheer on China as she joins the board, and because this seems like it's going to be an interesting meeting. I also want to thank Samantha Carter for her service to the county. Being on the board, and especially being chair, makes someone a lightning rod. I applaud the board for the resolution honoring her. Everyone who takes on service to the community deserves our thanks. But I'm not here to talk about people, I'm here to talk about process. Since I was coming to the meeting, I read the agenda packet because I'm a local government geek. I was struck by 3 different items in the agenda that relate to government procurement. For the benefit of the board and the county's residents, I want to give my professional opinion on these as a consultant who specializes in these areas. First is Resolution 152, Purchases Not Following Policy, where the Children's Advocacy Center is noted for not following procurement rules for the purchase of furniture. County procurement policy says that any purchase of more than $30,000 has to go out to bid unless there are certain exceptions. The reason to solicit bids is to make sure that the county is conducting research to get the best price and to conduct an open process to avoid any sense of impropriety. If I were a county board member, I would like to hear, maybe at next month's meeting, more details from the CAC about the situation. I would ask this of all significant non-compliant purchases. I do not mean to single out the CAC. That brings us to the second item, Resolution 156, where the Physical Plant Division is asking for an exception to the purchasing policy. It's good they're asking up front, but the request is missing key information, like how much is the full purchase? The memo only says that the purchase is more than $30,000 and that the sheriff is going to contribute up to $21,000. But it doesn't say what the price is, who the purchase is from, or provide other details. Again, as a board member, I would like to hear more details before giving an exception. And so let us all admire the third example. Resolution 168, in which the budget director shows us another way by using a procurement cooperative contract as a vehicle for purchase. Using a cooperative agreement is an allowable exception to the purchasing policy, and it bypasses the policy for bidding. I have no problem with procurement cooperatives. In fact, I have an award from one myself, and I have used it to sign contracts without a competitive bidding process. Were I a board member, however, I would have additional questions about this purchase. First, I see that the software is $38,000. But what about the outside services or the internal staff time needed to make it operational? What is the full cost of this project? Second, The budget is being used as from the Capital Asset Replacement Fund. Now stick with me here as I get in the weeds. The name of the budget line being used is Software License and SaaS. SaaS means Software as a Service, and it is the idea of renting software instead of buying it. If you're paying for it every year, doesn't that make it an operational expense and not a capital expense? And what about next year when the software has to be renewed for $38,000 more? Will that also come out of the CARF at that time? And finally, isn't it at least ironic that the budget director is asking for a mid-year budget adjustment for software that the county did not apparently need in past years? I understand that cool new software will do some things better, but shouldn't the budget director be setting a better example of thrift when the county is facing a structural deficit? How about at least making it as part of the yearly budget request when the board considers new desired items from other departments too? I don't have easy answers to these questions, but I thought I would share these observations with the board. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Ekaterina Tisarina.
All right, please take one and pass them down. I will be referencing the various exhibits in my little speech here. Good evening. My name is Ekaterina Tsitsarina. I'm a resident of Champaign, and I would like to discuss the issue of flock cameras and the lack of transparency that the Champaign County Sheriff's Office has exhibited in regards to their use of flock. As a brief recap, Flock is a company that makes AI surveillance cameras. These cameras record the license plate of every car that passes them, uploading the observations into a database, which can be searched without a warrant. To paraphrase a Flock representative, as to the scope of the data collected by Flock cameras, the cameras record 30 days of pattern of life, including what someone has been doing and where they have been going. As I mentioned earlier, this data can be searched without a warrant, and in fact, Flock allows customers to share their location history database with other Flock customers across the US. Because the data collected by Flock isn't private, it's vital that organizations be transparent regarding their use of this technology. Champaign County Sheriff's Office has failed to be transparent in this regard, as evidenced by the next points. First of all, the Champaign County Sheriff's Office has a secret contract with Flock. What that means is the contract is not on the county website of approved contracts, and when we asked to see the contract in a FOIA request, Lieutenant Kurt Apperson, I apologize if I mispronounced the name, stated that there was no such contract and that all contracts were on the website. Please see Exhibit 1 in the document we distributed. Fortunately, we proved via reference in other county documents that the Sheriff's Office did have a Flock contract, at which point Lieutenant Apperson finally admitted it and sent us the contract. Please see Exhibit 2. It's possible that the Sheriff's Office simply didn't know about the Flock contract. We've certainly brought it to their attention by now, so there would be a reasonable expectation that the contract would be posted to the website. As of the writing of this, the contract is still not there. Please see Exhibit 3. The Sheriff's Office is likely keeping the contract secret because of how unpopular Flock is with residents, as evidenced tonight. Other agencies, such as Champaign PD, have a transparency portal, which is offered for free from Flock, but the Champaign County Sheriff's Office has disabled theirs. To the point of our data flowing freely within the Flock ecosystem, we found a transparency portal from Union County, South Dakota, which is a small county about 8 hours away from Champaign, and which has direct search access to our Flock database. See Exhibit 5. This begs the obvious question of who else has access to our data. We tried to find out, but when we submitted a FOIA request to see the list of agencies with access, the Sheriff's Office stated that disclosing the list of sharers would jeopardize their safety, Exhibit 6. Note that when we sent the same FOIA to Champaign PD and UIPD, they disclosed their lists of sharers, Exhibit 7. Nothing in the lists we received would appear to jeopardize anyone's safety. We appealed, but Assistant State's Attorney Andrew J. Mueller confirmed that the list cannot be shared due to terrorism, whatever that means. Exhibit 8. Without this list, we won't know whether our data has been shared with ICE. We also asked the county sheriff where the funding for the contract is coming from several weeks ago. We have not received a response. Exhibit 9. Given this consistent lack of transparency, the obvious question that emerges is why is something implemented in the name of public safety being so deliberately obscured from that same public? And I understand that this board cannot regulate the sheriff's policies or behaviors. However, I hope that in light of the information presented tonight, the board will consider eliminating the appropriation for flock and other such surveillance devices. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next, Ms. Angel Johnson.
Good evening. Good evening, everyone. Okay, thank you. Good evening to everyone. I'm here on the behalf of Aaron Amos, and I represent, standing here fully, I have never seen a person so humble, so loving, so caring. We need love today. We need equal opportunity. I see it now. You know, 1833, if you look back, everyone says, oh, this is not about race. If anyone could tell you about race, it's a black man and a black woman. We are African American first. That's what y'all told us. And y'all brought us over here. I love everyone. Without love, there's no country, there's no nation, there's no families, there's no people, there's no nothing. None of us in this room can tell me that any one of us is perfect. But some kind of way, when we get an opportunity as African Americans, we always be put down first, judge first. We don't get to be in the sight of a news station or in the sight of other people. Look at us as we just human beings. We need to come together. There's a bigger crisis, bigger fish to fry. We're losing people in our country to nonsense. We're dealing with ISIS. We're dealing with other people who have their own political reasons or agendas. Let's come together. Let's reason once and for all. Can we come together just on something? This man is guilty before innocent. This man have walked around here. This man have stayed up all night, him and his wife. Listen, I'm for right. I can't stand up here today and tell you I'm perfect. I'm a whole pastor, evangelist, prophet. I would not act like I'm perfect. I'm not God. I'm going to make mistakes. But I tell you this, I hope that someone could find it in their heart. If I do something, forgive me. I'm asking for forgiveness. I see this man and his wife humble. I couldn't believe they accepted people who y'all call gay. And that's incorrect, because that means you're happy. That's all that word means. But no, that's even nasty. You treat them like dogs. And I'm sick of it, because someone don't think the way we think. And then we throw them under the bus. Oh, they're no good. They're trifling. They're nasty. They're ugly. Well, who are you and who died and made you God? Or the higher power, whoever that is? Because you don't know and I don't either. But we give it a try. Give these people a chance. If they did do something wrong, so what? If they didn't do it, so what? Let's come together and say, hey, there's a hole and it needs to be fixed. And let's fix the hole in the wall. Don't just leave it broken. So if you can't fix the hole that you caused, don't try to fix no one else. And I'm going to make it real simple, real plain. And I'm done. I'm finished. And I love all of you, I do. I love everyone. I give everyone a chance. But remember this, sweep around your own front door before you try to sweep around mine.
Thank you. Next, I may get this wrong, Craig Wake? Craig Walker? Sorry, I did not see you back there, Mr. Walker.
Craig Woke. Good afternoon. First, I want to say, China, congratulations. You're coming on early because you earned this in March in a primary. And also wanted to congratulate County Executive-elect, I guess, Jet, for another great win in her primary. And I will say to my fellow Democrats that I felt that primary was one of the most cathartic processes that we as a community have gone through. It was a good campaign, it was a clean campaign, and the best person won. And the most important part of us as Democrats is that we're going to have those kind of campaigns. But we stand on the same side on almost every issue that's important, not only in this community, but in this country. And certainly today, it's hard to separate community from country. So I just want to come to all of the Democrats and say, one, I'm very happy that you elected Deshaun Williams, Chairman. I think he's going to bring a dynamic aspect to our party here locally, and hopefully will result in the flipping of the 104 by Mary Catherine Romerson in November. But we got to work together. We got to work together. And I'm coming here to say, you know, any of our past differences, I apologize for, because none of that matters right now. We're fighting for the stake and future of our nation. And it starts right here in Champaign-Urbana. You know why? Because of this side. I haven't heard anybody from this side say that Donald Trump lost the 2020 election. In fact, I've heard a lot of people talk about integrity, and he just said irrelevant. The fact that an election of the duly elected president of the United States is denied by people over here remedies them as not even workable. You can't work with people like that because then you give them oxygen. This is the underpinnings of how fascism begins. When you deny duly elections, you begin to let the thread begin to unravel. And this is going to happen all over this country. So it's up to us to come together, to stand together, put everything aside, and go to work, do the work. Because I can tell you right now, I'm coming out to St. Joe, JJ. I'm coming out to your district. Because I know there's got to be some good Republicans who remember guys like Dick Lugar, who remembers Howard Baker, who remembers people who at least, despite the opposition of ideas, had the dignity to win or lose. But hey, you guys got a mantra from your leader that even in Champaign-Urbana, you can't say he lost. That's a serious, I give Trump credit. He's definitely the #1 best con man fascist in the history of this country and probably the world. Now, what he does with that power remains to be seen, and we will see in not only November, but in 2028. But what I'm saying to my fellow Democrats, we have new leadership at the top with Deshaun and an executive committee that is strong, smart, able. We have renewed vigor. I am right now working with a lot of young black men and women in the trenches who are looking for hope, for guidance, resources. And so I want to invite all y'all to the Peace and Love Barbecue on Sunday at Douglas Park. Y'all can come if you can before you come through, please say if you voted for Donald Trump or, not voted, you can vote for him, but say if he lost or not, because, we don't tolerate that. I mean, we ain't going to say nothing, but we're going to look at you. We need you to come to Love and Peace. It's safe. I was there recently, and the love and peace buried beefs that you would not even believe. Unity is the most important thing we need in the Champaign County Democratic Party right now. We have a chance to make history. It only lost by 252 votes. We can flip the 104 and defend the Democrat-held county clerk office. Thank you.
Thank you. I apologize for misnaming you, Mr. Walker. I will point out, too, that WCIA recently referred to me as Scott Summers, so there is a lot of this going around. A lot of this going around. All right. Next up, I have the name listed as Anne Marie.
I am Anne Marie. Very ill prepared today. I wish I had more details. Somebody recently asked me to look into the flock camera situation, and I was struck and very surprised at what I discovered with just a few hours of learning this week. I'd like to recommend a source, a person named, John Podfield, who's been interviewed and has his own YouTube channel called Business Reform. He's an electrical engineer, and he's also served as a state representative in Indiana and was there like in the late 80s, 90s when people were finally in possession of digital cameras that could be hidden in potted plants and hidden in bathrooms. And all of a sudden there were landlords and people at gyms and stuff like spying on usually women, and all that kind of erupted into our society. And he was part of the state legislature in Indiana that grappled with the issues of privacy and protection, but also recognizing this new technology. Anyway, I learned a lot from him. He's the reference for most of what I'm gonna say. I want to reference also back to the Iran-Contra scandal for anyone in the room who's old enough to remember that, and just remind people that at that time, there was great corruption and a workaround around the Constitution, work around the checks and balances of our government for, a goal that was not politically acceptable. And there was an uproar socially and politically that exposed all of that. The person who was one of the main players in that is Poindexter. And after 9/11, Poindexter was in charge of a surveillance program called Total Information Awareness for the United States. It caused such an uproar because it is a huge violation of most of the social contract and certainly elements of our Constitution and its amendments, that it was defunded by Congress in 2003. Palantir, steered by Peter Thiel, was formed about a year later, and the CIA became Palantir's only client soon after that for a long time. When Flock was formed, Peter Thiel was one of the initial funders of Flock. Flock actually doesn't just track cars. There's an add-on, and because I'm ill-prepared, I can't remember exactly the name of it, but it's Signal something. There's a second word to it, and it looks a lot like the internet providing pads up there. It looks a lot like that. And when you drive by, it actually pings every single Bluetooth connected device in your car. And because of the IP address, it knows what that is. Is it your earbuds? Is it your laptop? Is it your phone? Is it your car itself? And so they're matching cars to actual people, to all of your devices. And they know who's in that car. I'm going to skip a little bit because I'm running out of time. There's been constant expansion by Flock. First, it was just photos that law enforcement could access. Now it's complete live streams. I'm going to skip over some things other people talked about. They've announced last October that Flock was going to integrate with Ring doorbell phones, so that also goes into this huge national database that nobody else has mentioned yet, keeps mysteriously having its permission settings changed behind the scenes that the law enforcement agencies haven't been doing. And that's partly why this data keeps getting shared all over. An agency can say that they don't permit sharing, but then all of a sudden there's a national share permission in their system magically behind the scenes. So Ring doorbells, also dash cams, body cams, all of that, they want to integrate. They've admitted this. It's not like a theory. They want to integrate all of that. It's an $8.4 billion company now. 30 seconds left. Larry Ellison, you can research what he's done. He's consolidating massive amounts of media with his son, and he's the chairman of the board of Oracle. He basically said, we are all going to be supervised and everyone's going to be on their best behavior because they know they're going to be watched every single minute, and AI is watching. And eventually, the goal is to get rid of government. That's something you can research as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Brian Maxwell.
Hey everyone, Brian Maxwell. I'm a resident of Urbana, resident of District 10. And I wanted to talk tonight about resolution or agenda item Z, the calling for the resignation of the Champaign County Clerk. This resolution seems like a bit of theater, to be honest, to score political points for some people on this board. It is performative, it's non-binding, it's unenforceable, to the point made earlier by another board member. It's not part of the board's duties or responsibilities. And it seems designed to short-circuit the justice system in order to force the resignation of a local elected official who hasn't even had their day in court. There's been some previous talk in the swearing in of new members about upholding the Constitution. It is a constitutionally protected right to due process. That is the burden of the government to prove you guilty, innocent until proven guilty. That's the burden of the government to prove your guilt. That has not been met at all in a court case that has just started in this county with a judge that has barely heard any evidence, if at all. And the county board is bringing forward a resolution to ask someone to step down. Part of that rights under the Constitution is protection from arbitrary treatment, like being asked to resign from office because of charges that have not even been proven in court. So this, this resolution seems to totally bypass the justice system in lieu of this culture of guilt by media, presumed guilt until innocence later. To the point made earlier about there was a recent New York Times article this week, pretty timely and relevant to this issue. This was published on Monday. This is about the number of federal prosecutors that have left their job, career prosecutors that have left their job after being asked by the current federal administration to bring cases with very scant evidence on politically motivated charges. I'm going to read a couple excerpts from the article that was mentioned earlier. The office brought a wave, this is for the office in Chicago, this is the Illinois office of the DOJ. The office brought a wave of doomed cases that accused protesters and immigrants of assaulting federal officers that accelerated an exodus of veteran prosecutors, some of whom felt they'd been wrongly pressured into pursuing charges. The article talks a bit about how many of these cases have failed. That 2% success rate, that's a 2% success rate for the cases that are being brought forward by the Justice Department, is a stark reversal for the Justice Department, which wins an average of more than 90% of criminal cases, down almost 80 percentage points under this federal administration that is literally bragging about wanting to weaponize the DOJ in the interest of going after political opponents. So, I would hope that my representatives in District 10 vote down this resolution. People deserve due process, and this needs to be allowed to play out in the courts and not ask an elected official, have the county board bypass the will of the voters who elected this official, asking them to step down prematurely before they've even had their day in court. I would ask, again, that the board focus on things that are its responsibilities, like passing audits on time, instead of focusing on politically motivated hit jobs, asking a county clerk to step down. Thanks.
Point of inquiry, Mr. Executive.
Go ahead.
Ask how many slips you have remaining.
1.
All right.
I was keeping track, Matt.
Move to extend public input by 10 minutes.
All right. Second, motion and a second to extend. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you, though, Matt. Appreciate it. All right. Bahavana Beam.
Okay, I hope people can hear me. Hi, I'm Bhavna. I wasn't planning on speaking, but I felt compelled to speak after seeing all the other speakers and also kind of my background. I'm a computer science PhD student here at the University of Illinois, and my entire research is around algorithmic justice and how do you bring about more democratic control over algorithmic technologies and AI. And first and foremost is you need transparency. If we need to know how to regulate surveillance technologies, we need transparency on what those technologies are, how they're being used, and how the data is being used. I also want to speak as I've worked in policy in DC at the Center for Democracy and Technology. I specifically worked on security and surveillance, and I've done research on surveillance technologies and security around surveillance, and also worked with police departments on, actually I've worked with community organizers who have pushed back against police departments for surveillance technologies they've used. One thing I'll say with my experience in policy is that this is a bipartisan issue. Democrats and Republicans care about surveillance and they care about the technologies that police have. And like I said, I didn't really plan this, but everyone should care about Flock. Actually, I was told this story today that was so simple, but was a great reason why we should all care. Let's say in this hypothetical world, you live with your family and your son goes to a community college 40 minutes away. And you let your son, use your car because he lives with you and he's saving money, he's going to community college, he's driving 40 minutes away. And then let's say that said son gets a romantic partner near the college and spends a lot of the nights with their romantic partner in 40 minutes away. And now the insurance company is detecting that license plate continues to exist overnight 40 minutes away. And now the insurance company comes back and says, well, this car is not part of your household anymore and cannot be part of your insurance anymore. And now your son's insurance, he has to get his own insurance, his prices go up. This seems silly, right? But the truth is when these companies collect data, they start making assumptions on what story that data is telling them. And then you can't fight back on that. And once they collect the data and decide what to do with the data, we've lost our control as consumers. And the only thing we can do is actually regulate them from the very beginning to not collect that data in the first place. And when surveillance mechanisms get created and instituted, it's really hard to pull back. And I also want to say that right now in the United States, the police can use surveillance technologies. There is nothing stopping them. In fact, the only way we can regulate that is coming from the local government, the state government, and the federal government, but we know that's not going anywhere. And so right here in county board is where the conversations should happen. In city council is where the conversations should happen, because the status quo is that they can surveil. The status quo is that they don't need a warrant. That is what they're protected to do, unless we create regulation to change that status quo and bring about more democratic control. And so I know there isn't a direct ask right now to the county board, but I'm very happy that we have started these conversations because they're extremely important to have. And surveillance affects everybody. It is not a conversation about safety. We have safety, and there's other mechanisms of safety. Surveillance is about the data you're allowing them to collect about you, which will then let them make decisions about your life. And I'm on the forefront of, if people are going to make decisions about my life because I've handed them over my data, then I just need to stop handing them over my data. It's as simple as that. Thank you.
Thank you. With that, I will close public input. Thank you very much. Next time up, I have a proclamation that I'm going to read in celebration of the 125th anniversary of the Champaign County Courthouse. Bear with me. Whereas beginning in 1836, a series of courthouse structures were created on the downtown square in Urbana, Illinois. The first two structures were temporary and small, mostly made of wood. In 1849, a two-story wood and brick building was built with the bell tower clock. It was during this time that Abraham Lincoln practiced law in the Champaign County Courthouse. In 1860, a large remodeling of the courthouse took place, creating a steel frame with masonry exterior. The latter structure was later determined to be too small for the growing community. And whereas the fifth courthouse was dedicated on August 22nd, 1901, it stands to this day on the corner of Main Street and Broadway Avenue in Urbana, Illinois. It was 108 feet by 116 feet and 3 stories tall and cost $150,000. It was designed, by Joseph Royer and was built in a Romanesque style with red sandstone and mottled brick exterior. The bell tower clock rose to 135 feet. The tower was struck by lightning at least 4 times, and the tower height was reduced to 85 feet in 1952. At the turn of the century, a large renovation project took place, creating 11 courtrooms and allowing many office holders to have offices in the courthouse at a cost of about $27 million. It more than doubled the courthouse space in the county. In 2009, after extensive fundraising of about $1 million, the bell tower clock were raised to the original height of 130 feet. And whereas the Champaign County Courthouse has served as a lasting monument for justice, democracy, and civic life for the citizens of Champaign County, and whereas the historic building with its Romanesque features stands as a cherished architectural landmark in our downtown, and whereas for 125 years this courthouse has been the site where the rule of law was upheld, local governments is administered, and the rights and liberties of our residents are protected. And whereas the building has witnessed the growth and evolution of our community, bearing witness to countless milestones, civic gatherings, and the steadfast dedication of our judges, attorneys, and county officials. And whereas it is fitting and proper to recognize this milestone, honoring both the physical structure and the heritage of justice it represents in Champaign County. Now, therefore, the Champaign County Board does hereby proclaim August 21st, 2026 as Champaign County Courthouse Anniversary Day and urge all citizens to join in celebrating its rich history and architectural beauty and enduring legacy of our courthouse. I suppose I should ask for a motion. Motion by Sullard, second by Farney. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Resolution passed and approved. Thank you very much. All right, next up, presentation of our fiscal year 2024 audit. Sandy Cook with Clifton Larson Allen is here to present this audit.
All right. Well, thank you so much. My name is Sandy Cook. I'm signing director with Clifton Larson Allen. What I'm going to do tonight is just a very high-level review of the audit results, and then see if anybody has any questions. So first, to give a little background of our approach on the audit, it is a risk-based approach. What that means is we look at the various account balances to see if they are significant balances, if there's estimates built into those balances, if they're complex, unusual transactions running through those. Once we determine those, then we get a good understanding of the internal controls. We test the controls over those processes, and then we spend majority of our substantive time testing those areas. Some, just to give you an example of some of those areas, that is cash investments, your capital assets, debt, your leases, SBITAs, any kind of accrual liabilities such as your OPEB and your pensions. So the audit deliverables include the audited financial statements as well as a governance communication letter. First, with the financial statements, there are 3 auditors' reports within those financial statements. The first one is the independent auditor's report over the financial statements themselves. That was an unmodified or clean opinion, and that's what you strive for. The other 2 reports are within the single audit section, which is included in the financial statements towards the back. The first report is your the government auditing standards report on internal controls over the financial reporting. That does not have an opinion on it, but it is included in there, and I'll go into more detail on that. The second one is the Uniform Grant Guidance report on compliance for each major federal program and the internal control over those requirements. That does have an opinion. It was an unmodified, clean opinion as well. So diving a little bit deeper into those 2 auditors' reports, the first one being the Government Auditing Standards, sometimes referred to as a GAS report. That did include 4 findings. While it does not have a modification or an opinion attached to it, that is where your findings are located. The first one being related to some revenue reconciliations. During our audit process, we did come across where some of the revenues that were in the general ledger, the trial balances, did not agree to the confirmations that included some of the receivable balances. The second finding related to the timing of the bank reconciliations, which leads into the third finding, which was the audit delays overall. There were significant delays, as everyone is well aware of, timing of when the information that was necessary for us to complete the audit, the availability of that information was not timely. That includes not only your trial balances, the numbers that we need to audit, but also the supporting documents, the reports, as well as capital assets. So then going into the Uniform Guidance report, as I mentioned, that does have an opinion. That was an unmodified, clean opinion. That is over your federal major program expenditures. We did test 3 major programs this year. That included your ARPA, your Head Start, as well as the highway planning. We did not come across or find any findings to note in the audit report, so that piece was clean as well. And just to put a perspective on those 3 programs, the total expenditures for those 3 programs was about $18 million overall, your federal expenditures were just under 32 million. So in our testing, we covered about 57% of your total federal expenditures. The next deliverable is a governance communication letter. Anytime that there's an audit in place, this communication is required. Some of the key items that are in there: during fiscal year 24, GASB 101, as it relates to compensated absences, was implemented. Under the old standards, really, it required you to look at those accruals for the benefits for employees and what was potentially or was to be paid out upon separation. This new standard takes it a step further. You have some accruals that could roll over or do roll over where the employees could take that time off in the future. With that, there is an estimate built into that determining what is more likely than not to be used. Once that estimate was built into that calculation, there was little or minimal impact on the financial statements. Significant estimates included within your financial statements relate to the OPEB, the other post-employment benefit liability. That one is due to significant data that's provided to the actuary, and then the actuarial study includes estimates, assumptions to determine that liability. There were other estimates that are built into your financial statements, but not significant enough to warrant disclosure in that letter. There were no disagreements with management during the audit process. However, as I mentioned, the communication does disclose the delay in the audit process due to the timing or availability of information. The last two items, uncorrected misstatements, sometimes referred to as past adjustments. Those are attached to the letter. There were a couple related to your IMRF pension, your SBITAs, that's the subscription-based information technology arrangements, as well as some accounts payable and accruals. And then lastly, it makes mention of the corrected misstatements, the audit adjustments that I made reference to. Kind of looking ahead to fiscal year 25, which is has passed, but a standard that will be implemented in that year relates to certain risk disclosures. And what that means is really it looks at the vulnerability of the county. Do you have significant revenue streams that if those disappear, would that impact the financial health of the county? We haven't seen a lot of impact on that just because of the diversity of the various revenue streams throughout municipalities and counties in the state of Illinois. Looking into 2026, there's two more GASBs. GASB 103, that's financial reporting model improvements. The main impact there is the management discussion and analysis, changes some items there. Impact on how the operating, non-operating income expenses are reported within enterprise funds, which the county does not currently have, as well as the budget to actual, how those are presented, and some statistical information. GASB 104, certain disclosures on certain capital assets. This one really is a disclosure which breaks out your capital assets, your right to use lease assets, your right to use SBITA assets, any intangibles from those capital assets that are used. The purpose of that is to provide just better insight of those capital assets as well as the related obligations. That is my brief, quick summary. Any questions that you have?
Brett.
Thank you. I think this might maybe a little bit more to Travis, but you guys have been doing some of this too, so I'm not quite sure. Going forward, I think maybe it's Travis' question. Who will focus on the ongoing reconciliation in the finance department? I think we had them doing some of it.
Cindy's presentation was on the 24 audit, so that's what the questions need to be directed to.
Well, I'm looking at the one from Travis here. I'm just trying to figure out what's going to be happening going forward. I mean, is that something I can ask? Because I'm trying to figure out what are we going to do going forward? Who was in charge of that, so we don't end up in this mess we've been
County
had the
Finance,
last year.
County Finance will be in charge of the 25 audit.
Okay, so they'll be entirely in charge of that. They'll be
That's
in charge of reconciliations and everything. Okay, so I guess I'll have to wait till the next cow to ask the question.
I think I've answered your question, but you can ask that again. But yeah, County Finance will be in charge of the 25 audit preparation.
Is there a specific person, or is it the entire department?
We have multiple people, finance specialists and our finance director that do that work. So all of them are involved in it.
Okay, then can we maybe as a board get monthly or bi-monthly reports to make sure we're still on track and we don't fall behind so we know this?
As I get additional information, we will make it available to the board. Absolutely.
Okay, that's what it's going to be. Thanks.
Thank you. Any further questions? Thank you very much, Ms. Cook. Appreciate your time.
All right, well, thank you so much. If any questions do come up, please don't hesitate to reach out. You all can jump on a phone call, do it through email. But appreciate your time, and everyone have a good evening.
All right, moving on with our amended agenda. Adoption of Resolution 2026-165, approving budget transfer BUA 2026-694, Fund 1080, General Corporate, Department 22, County Clerk, amount $75,000. Reason to transfer funds to the temporary staff line or to pay election judges for the 2026 election. Can I get a motion? Motion by Locke. Can I get a second? Second by Ares. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, will the clerk please call the roll? This requires 15 votes.
Cowart. I wasn't paying attention. What was that?
We're voting on BUA to provide funding to the county clerk for election judges.
Yes. Esri.
Yes.
Fardy.
Yes.
Fava.
Yes.
Figueroa Dixon.
Yes.
Hanover Friedman.
Yes.
Lokshin.
Yes.
Pugh.
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
Shell.
Yes.
Settles.
Yes.
Sexton.
Yes.
Sollard.
Yes.
Benish Thiernot.
Yes.
Wiggs. Wilson.
Yes.
Eris.
Yes.
Cagle.
Yes.
Locke.
Yes.
Motion passes. Thank you. Next, adoption of resolution number 2026-166, approving budget amendment BUA 2026-6110, Fund 2075, Regional Planning Commission, Department 100, increased appropriations $70,000, increased revenue $70,000, appropriation to support activities related to the coordination of the continuum of service providers to the homeless. Can I have a motion? Motion by, Figueroa Dixon, second by Ms. Benish Thiernot. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Cowart. Yes. Esri.
Yes.
Barney.
Yes.
Fava.
Yes.
Figueroa Dixon.
Yes.
Hanover Friedman.
Yes.
Lokshin.
Yes.
Pugh.
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
Shell.
Yes.
Settles. Sollard.
Yes.
Sexton.
Yes.
Benish Thiernot.
Yes.
Wilson.
Yes.
Eris.
Yes.
Cagle.
Yes.
Locke.
Yes.
Motion passes. Moving on, adoption of resolution number 2026-167, approving budget amendment BUA 2026-747, Fund 1080, General Corporate, Department 42, Coroner, Increased appropriations, $80,000. Increased revenue, 0. Reason appropriation required for autopsy services provided by Sangamon County. Can I get a motion? Motion by Shell, second by Hanauer Friedman. Is there any discussion? Go ahead, Mr. Pugh.
No, I was just, can we make sure in the budget next year we don't have to keep coming back and asking this for every few months? I mean, this is going to be a cost until we get a core, I know someone, what's the term? Well, the person we need to get. So we just have to keep coming back and doing this over and over again. That would be appreciated. Thank you.
Chair Locke, go ahead.
Just to speak to that, Mr. Pugh, the hope was that we would have hired one by now, and so we budgeted for what we expected to need since there had been negotiations along the way. We still have that approved position, so there's always a hope if anybody knows a forensic pathologist who really wants to live in central Illinois. But otherwise, we'll pay as we go, and, you know, we love when Ms. Brower joins us.
Further questions? All right, will the clerk please call the roll?
Covert?
Yes.
Esri?
Yes.
Yes.
Fava?
Yes.
Figueroa Dixon?
Yes.
Hanauer Friedman?
Yes.
Lakshin?
Yes.
Pugh?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Shell?
Yes.
Settles?
Yes.
Sexton?
Yes.
Yes.
Vantage Serenot?
Yes.
Wiggs?
Yes.
Wilson?
Yes.
Eris?
Yes.
Cagle?
Yes.
Locke?
Yes.
Motion passes. Thank you. All right. Next, adoption of Resolution 2026-168, approving budget amendment. I'm sorry, I've lost my place here. All right. Adoption of Resolution number 2026-169, approving budget amendment BUA 2026-7165, Fund.
168. We're on S.
Okay. All right. My apologies. All right. Adoption of Resolution 2026-168, approving budget amendment BUA 2026-746, Fund 3105, Capital Asset Replacement Fund, Department 16, Administrative Services, increased appropriation $38,067.53, increased revenue, 0, reason appropriation for the purchase of budget software. Can I have a motion? Motion by Lakshin, second by Farney, I believe. Questions? Go ahead, Mr. Pugh.
I'm full of questions tonight. I think does this go to Travis then about this software? Or who might this? Okay, thanks, Travis. What do we gain by this software that we're purchasing now? Just simply.
Yeah, go ahead, Travis. It's pretty simple.
Yeah, this is software that we actually approved and funded multiple years ago. It's been sitting in fund balance rolling over year after year until we got it. It does a lot of things that our current software doesn't, and one of the big ones is ADA compliance for the new ADA rules. So that alone almost makes it worth it. So.
Oh, no. Yeah, thanks. This will be an ongoing yearly cost?
It will be a yearly cost, not this much. This includes some implementation costs and stuff. So.
Okay. And that'll come out of CAR for in the future or where?
Yeah.
Okay. And why are we doing this mid-year and not like at the end of the year?
So the funding had already happened a couple of years ago. So we're just getting an appropriation to spend the money that had been rolled over the last couple of years.
Okay. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Chair Locke.
Travis, jump in and correct me if I'm wrong, but by us doing this now, we can get it on the books, and so that next year's complete budget is with ADA compliant software, and that we're not having to, before that April deadline, back end our way into a year with also with our budget. If we do this now, we can make financial year 27 a more seamless budget transfer, correct?
That is correct. With the timing of the implementation, we can implement it now and kind of run 2 budget books behind the scenes, and then a full year, a regular budget book, next year's budget with just the new software.
Mr. Farney.
Yeah, I just wanted to comment, McHenry County uses the same software. If you go to their website and go to their budget, it's pretty easy to understand and read, and it'll be better for the public.
You had me at ADA compliant, but that's fine.
Any further questions? Hearing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Court,
Yes.
Esri,
Yes.
Farney,
Yes.
Fava,
Yes.
Figueroa Dixon,
Yes.
Hanover Friedman,
Yes.
Lokshin,
Yes.
Pugh,
Yes.
Rodriguez,
Yes.
Shell,
Yes.
Settles,
Yes.
Sexton,
Yes.
Sollard,
Yes.
Fanish Theodot,
Yes.
Wiggs,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
Iris,
Yes.
Cagle,
Yes.
Locke.
Yes.
Motion passes. Thank you. All right. Adoption of Resolution 2026-169, approving Budget Amendment BUA 2026-7165, Fund 6620, Health Life Insurance, Department 120, Employee Group Insurance, increased appropriation 50,000, increased revenue 0. Reason, appropriation to cover the new contract for employee health service and related broker benefits consultant services. Can I have a motion? Excuse me, motion by Esri, second by Figueroa Dixon. Discussion. Go ahead, Mr. Pugh.
I think it's the last question I have, but we budgeted $50K, but went up to $100K. Why did that happen? Because that's a big jump. So I'm just trying to understand better. Thank you.
I'll just jump in, and again, admin can correct me if I'm wrong. So the agency that we've had for several years for our or to help us find our medical broker the last few years, you may recall that there was a large hiccup in the compensation for our employees, for our AFSCME employees, medical, when it went above. You know, the copay assistance basically did not work as it was supposed to. So we put it out and we put it out for an RFP. There were other bids. The agency we had been using also bid, and theirs also went up. When we budgeted for this, we budgeted at what it was last year. So no matter who we would have chosen, it would have gone up, and we would have had to do a budget amendment. But using another one, it's gone up $50,000. But all things medical have gone up exponentially.
Sorry. Any further questions? Hearing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Court,
Yes.
Esri,
Yes.
Farney,
Yes.
Fava,
Yes.
Figueroa Dixon,
Yes.
Hanover Friedman,
Yes.
Lokshin,
Yes.
Pugh,
Yes.
Rodriguez,
Yes.
Shell,
Yes.
Settles, Sexton,
Yes.
Sollard,
Yes.
Fanish Theodot,
Yes.
Wiggs,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
Iris,
Yes.
Cagle,
Yes.
Locke.
Yes.
Motion passes. Thank you. Next up is adoption of Resolution 2026-170, approving the allocation of opioid settlement funds to support Champaign County Drug Court. Yeah, there's two. This one I do not believe is a BUA, so we don't need to have a roll call on this, but.
No. I had asked to include it in this because it's discussing item V, which
Okay.
is a roll call, and that one is 171. Does our clerk see that? So, yeah, U is 170.
I didn't have
Oh, I read off you.
Okay. All right. Can I have a motion to approve allocation of opioid settlement funds to support Champaign County Drug Court? Okay, Ms. Rodriguez and Mr. Wiggs. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you. All right. Adoption of resolution number 2026-171, approving budget amendment BUA 2026-7191, Fund 2685, Specialty Court, Department 31, Circuit Court. Increased appropriation $60,000, increased revenue $60,000. Reason transferring opioid settlement funds for drug court service. Can I have a motion? Excuse me, motion by Ed, second by Beth. Any discussion? Hearing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Cowart,
Yes.
Esri,
Yes.
Farney,
Yes.
Fava,
Yes.
Figueroa Dixon,
Yes.
Hanover Friedman,
Yes.
Lakshan,
Yes.
Pugh,
Yes.
Rodriguez,
Yes.
Shell,
Yes.
Settles,
Yes.
Sexton,
Yes.
Sollard,
Yes.
Finish Thiernot,
Yes.
Wiggs,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
Harris,
Yes.
Cagle,
Yes.
Locke.
Yes.
Motion passes. Thank you. All right. Back to your regular agenda. Approval of the minutes. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes of June 18th regular meeting? Motion by Wilson, second by Shell. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. Yep. Sorry. Go ahead.
Real minor spelling.
Okay.
It's page 4 of the minutes, page 9 of your packet. Second paragraph down. 5th line of that paragraph, the resolution, board member Pugh, it's P-E-I-G-H. Would that be a simple slip of the finger since you and I are right next to each other on a standard keyboard, a QWERTY keyboard anyway? But
we'll make note of that.
That is very minor, but it is.
We will make note of that and amend it. Thank you for your keen eye. I'm sure Mr. Pugh appreciates that as well. So. All right. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Can I get a motion to approve the adoption of Resolution 2026-151, authorizing payment of claims? Okay, by Farney, second by Lakshan. Is there discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, can I get a motion to approve adoption of Resolution 2026-152, purchases not following the purchase policy? Motion by Rodriguez, second by Shell. Is there any discussion? Mr. Pugh, you've been hitting them, so I will go to Mr. Farney. Mr. Farney, go ahead.
No, this is more of a comment maybe to get back to the office, but it does seem to me that the CAC appears on this list often. And so maybe, I believe Ms. Jett has something to say about this. So
I think this has to do with timeliness, but go ahead, Michelle.
Yeah, Stocks is in the Omni cooperative purchasing contract that we have. I believe the auditor just is not aware of that.
Then that makes sense. Thank you.
Mr. Pugh.
No, that was fine with me. There we
Thank
go.
you. Any further questions? Hearing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right. Can I get an anonymous motion to approve the adoption of Resolution 2026-153, approving an intergovernmental agreement with Animal Control and Impound Services for the Village of Mahomet, and adoption of Resolution 2026-154, approving an intergovernmental agreement with Animal Control and Impound Services with the City of Champaign? Okay, motion by Ellie, second by Ed. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, can I get a motion to approve the adoption of resolution number 2026-155, amending the schedule of authorized positions in the physical plant department, lead ground worker position? Motion by Farney, second by Shell. Is there any discussion? Mr. Pugh. Mr. Pugh is recognized, so.
Yeah,
Mr.
you're
Pugh.
recognized. Go ahead.
Good. I'm trying to be nice here. Why are we adding a position when apparently we don't have any money whatsoever and are going to be in a hole?
Go ahead, Michelle.
This request is not requesting any additional funding. We can do it within our existing budget.
Second question is, this is like dated in February. Are we just hanging on to this for a while, or was there a reason?
No, no reason.
Jeff, did you have a question?
Oh, just as a clarification, the function's already being performed. It's just a classification for a lead.
Well, I'm not with you.
The lead ground worker, we have grounds workers, and now you're just making sure there's a designation for a leader.
Yeah, with the additional responsibilities of inventory management, project planning in terms of day-to-day operations, reporting back to the custodial and grounds manager as to what's going on. So more of a literal on-the-grounds leadership role. We want to compensate someone appropriately for that role.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Further questions? Hearing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, can I get a motion to approve the adoption of resolution number 2026-156, approving an exception to the Champaign County Purchasing Policy, ordinance number 2025-9, Physical Plant Department? Can I get a motion? Motion by Vanish Thurinath, second by Lakshan. Discussion, Mr. Pugh.
There we are. Who are we buying this from? Do we have a cost? Why are we not following policy? I think a few of these actual questions came during public comment, so we can start with those.
So we are following policy. Per the purchase policy, we can make this request, so we are following policy. The estimated cost is $50,000 to $55,000, so probably safer to estimate it's going to be $60,000. It's a repair. Actually, it's an entire replacement of the freezer fridge. We specifically did not name the company because if this is not approved and we go to RFP process, we do not want to corrupt the RFP process.
Further questions? Hearing none. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Can you say why you prefer one over the other?
Yeah, we have a relationship with the company. They've done extensive work in the jail already that we've been very happy with. They've been assisting with the repairs that we've been dealing with so far. They're very familiar with our frustrations and the problems of the fridge freezer. And most importantly, honestly, when dealing with the jail, they've been very respectful of our security requests and the speediness that we need to get things done, because it is a major inconvenience to take away food or to like limit how we can cook or how we can use the kitchen, all of those things. And it's difficult to find contractors who can operate under those requirements.
Chair Locke.
Ms. Jack, because we have extra members of the public here today, I'm just going to ask you questions that I already know the answer to here. If we would go through the RFP process instead of following the procedure that allows you to ask for an exception from that, if we would go through the RFP process, what would happen if the freezer breaks tomorrow? Like, what kind of delay would we be looking at?
At least 2 to 3 months if we're lucky.
Okay, so
honestly,
that's
more
the
than
delay
that,
with
because the RFP process alone takes 6 to 8 weeks, and then we haven't even signed the contract or ordered the parts or been able to get on the contractor's schedule that we ended up choosing from the RFP process. So the entire RFP process usually puts a start date for a facilities project at least 4 to 5 months out.
Okay. Whereas if, we approve this today, you could make the order tomorrow, and we could ensure that we have proper refrigeration for the food for the individuals in our custody.
Yeah, we would get started tomorrow with the contractor, yes.
Thank you.
Ms. Lockshin.
Just another quick clarification on the policy. Were these sent to quotes expecting that the bids would be around or under the $30,000 threshold, and
We didn't really have any idea until we started asking people, companies to come in and take a look at it. So once we asked one, we always ask another because you're always concerned, is that really legitimate? And by the second one, clearly it was. So then we got the third one and came here.
Thank you.
Further questions? Hearing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, can I get a motion to approve the adoption of Resolution 2026-157, appointing Susan Fowler to the Developmental Disabilities Board, term ending 6/30/2029? Motion by Lockshin, second by Sullard. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Can I get a motion to approve the adoption of Resolution 2026-158, appointing Jeff Kurtz to the Windsor Park Fire Protection District, term ending 4/30/2029? Get a motion by Esri, second by Ellie. Is there any discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Can I get a motion to approve the adoption of Resolution 2026-159, appointing Marcia Fowler to the Locust Grove Cemetery Association, term ending 6/30/2032? Motion by Farney, second by Wilson. Is there any discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Can I get a motion, adoption of Resolution 2026-160, appointing Laura Brooks to the East Lawn Memorial Burial Park, term ending 6/30/2030? Lockshin, Scholl. Any discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Can I get an omnibus motion to approve the adoption of Resolutions 2026-161, appointing Andy Graham to the Public Aids Appeal Committee, term ending 11/30/2026. Adoption of Resolution 2026-162, appointing Danielle Chenoweth to the Public Aids Appeal Committee, term ending 11/30/2027. And finally, adoption of Resolution 2026-163, appointing Leah Taylor to the Public Aids Appeal Committee, term ending 11/30/2027. Motion by Ares, second by Vanish Theranot. Any discussion? Mr. Pugh.
Yes, I'll be voting no on this against Leah Taylor, and the rest of the two are fine. So thank you very much.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Can I get a motion to approve adoption of Resolution 2026-173, appointing John Burgee as the Chair of the Board of Review, term ending 5/31/2027? Motion by Locke, second by Farney. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, can I get a motion to approve the adoption of Resolution 2026-164, approving the appointment of election judges for the 2026-2028 term? Moved by, Figueroa Dixon, second by Sullard. Is there any discussion? Mr. Pugh.
Is there a way we can do this without putting out every single little bit of their personal information out there?
I believe this is the path that's been taken in the past and is required. I can certainly ask further questions, but those questions were asked earlier as well. Chair Locke.
I had that same concern at our agenda planning meeting, and I was advised that our administrative assistant had even reached out to the clerk's office and with that concern of not putting its information out into the public. There was no response by the time we had to post the agenda, so that's why it's here. I agree, but it's also all FOIA-able. When you agree to be an election judge, it is 100% FOIA-able, so we've just made someone's job much easier.
Excuse me. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, let me reorganize here. All right, the available budget report for June 2026 is in your packet. Can I get a motion to approve adoption of ordinance number 2026-14, increasing statutory recorder GIS fees for Champaign County, Illinois, previously noticed as resolution 2026-148. Can I get a motion? Motion by Vanish Theranot, excuse me, second by Settles. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you. All right. Can I get a motion to approve the adoption of Resolution 2026-174, honoring retiring County Board member Samantha Carter? Motion by Arez. Excuse me. Second by Settles. Discussion. Seeing none. Chair Locke, would you like to read the resolution? Let's read the resolution.
Point of order,
first.
my hand was up for discussion.
All right.
You want to read it first, but I want to discuss this.
Let's read it first and then discuss it. All right. Will you please read the resolution?
All right. Resolution honoring retiring County Board member Samantha Carter. Whereas Samantha Carter was sworn in as Champaign County Board member on April 22nd, 2021. And whereas Samantha Carter has served the citizens of Champaign County as a representative of the Champaign County Board District 6 from April 22nd, 2021 through June 18th, 2026. And whereas during her tenure as a Champaign County Board member, Samantha Carter served on the Committee of the Whole for Justice and Social Services, Finance, Policy, Personnel, and Appointments from 2021 through 2026, the Highway and Transportation Committee from 2021 through 2026, the Broadband Task Force from 2021 through 2025, Community Violence Prevention Task Force from 2022 through 2024, and the DEIA Plus Task Force in 2025. And whereas during her tenure as a Champaign County Board member, Samantha Carter also served in a liaison position as a County Board representative on the Champaign-Urbana Urbanized Area Transportation Study, CUATS, Policy Committee from 2022 to 2024, and the Region 8 Human Service Plant, HSTP, Policy Committee from 2024 to 2025. And whereas during her tenure as a Champaign County Board member, Samantha Carter also served in a leadership role as the Vice Chair of the Broadband Task Force from 2021 to 2025, the Vice Chair of the County Board from 2022 to 2024, and the Chair of the County Board in 2024. And whereas the Champaign County Board seeks to publicly recognize the commitment and dedication of Samantha Carter, who served the citizens of Champaign County as an elected official for a term of 5 years. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Champaign County Board hereby recognizes the service of Samantha Carter and the benefit that service has brought to county government. And be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution be presented to Samantha Carter in recognition of her tenure of service to the citizens of Champaign County. Presented, adopted, approved by the County Board this 23rd day of July, 2026.
Thank you. All right, JJ, go ahead. Discussion.
For the last 3 years, I have been on the receiving end of monthly outbursts and interruptions from former board member Carter. Myself, members Hanauer, Freeman, Loshkin, Furtado, Rodriguez, Locke, Wilson, and others were insulted, harassed, and lied about. We were on the receiving end of numerous outbursts after meetings. We witnessed board member Carter harass members of the public. And the last straw was board member Carter's resignation letter, which in the nicest sense was hateful, hurtful, disrespectful, sexist, and bigoted. I recommend the public FOIA it. Heck, ask me for it, I'll give it to you. I cannot in good conscience vote to, quote, recognize a benefit of service, because I don't see it. And so I'm requesting a roll call vote.
Is there further discussion? It's your right to call. Okay, go ahead. Excuse me. Vice Chair Rodriguez.
That is my name. I understand that a roll call vote has been asked for this. I think I'll be voting yes. I think it's worth. Okay, yeah, I'll be voting to approve what's in their. Sorry, it's getting late. I think it's worth historically marking, I guess, the service of one person when they move on. I think it's important that we mark that. But I agree with much of what JJ said.
All right. Go ahead, Mr. Bolson.
Thank you. I applaud anybody that steps up to the plate to serve. And we all experience some of the uncomfortable aspects of that service. But nevertheless, I will vote yes because this individual actually stepped up to serve their community. And I think we all should be grateful for that, but then also learn lessons on what a proper decorum is within a county board setting.
All right. Seeing no further discussion, would the clerk please call the roll?
Cowart.
Yes, and I think she did a great job while she was serving on the board, even though some people say she was hateful. They forgot they were hateful to her.
Esri.
Yes.
Farney.
No.
Fava.
Yes.
Figueroa Dixon.
Yes.
Hanover Friedman.
Yes.
Lakshan.
No.
Pugh.
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yeah.
Shell.
Yeah.
Settles.
Yes.
Sexton.
No.
Sollard.
No.
Vantage Theodot.
Yes.
Wiggs.
Yes.
Wilson.
Yes.
Eris.
Yes.
Cagle.
No.
Locke.
Yes.
Motion passes. All right. Can I get a motion to approve adoption of resolution number 2026-174, calling for the resignation of the Champaign County Clerk? See a motion from Wilson. Is there a second? Okay, a second, Mr. Sexton. We have a motion and a second. Ms. Arias.
I would like to motion to table this to July 2027, partially because it is against my nature, because I am a very logical person who is also very humane, and I'll leave it there.
We have a motion to table. There is no discussion over a motion to table, according to, is that a second, Mr. Farney? There's no discussion over a motion to table, according to Roberts, unfortunately. We have a second. We have a motion and a second
Do
to
we
table.
have someone that can confirm that? Parliamentarian, or somebody want to Google it real quick?
I've reviewed it and looked at it, but we can check with our attorney.
We can, prior to the meeting, Circuit Clerk Susan McGrath spoke to me and reminded me that there is no discussion on a motion to table. Mr. Sullard has looked it up. There's no discussion on a motion to table. I think he has its cheat sheet right in front of him that we could reference, that on a motion to table, there's no discussion.
To clarify,
Sorry, go
when
ahead,
there's a
Matt.
motion to table to a specific date, which she has indicated to July 2027's board meeting, then there is not discussion.
All right. All in favor, signify by, no, we need to have a majority of, let's, it's not a requirement for a roll call, I don't believe. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, on to other business. American Rescue Plan Act, Kathy is not here. She has provided an update. I don't know if anyone has any comments regarding her update. We do have, I think we've got Jason Young here. Is Jason still here? Oh, it's not Jason. It's Peter. I was told it was Jason. Once again, you're not Jason. All right. Would you please give us an update on VOLA's progress?
This microphone makes me feel like attacked. You all know me. I'm Peter Folk. I'm with Volo. I didn't know that Jason had volunteered to do this. I would have definitely taken him up on it. But anyway, you have in front of you just some quick updates that I wanted to be able to give you numbers that were more up to date than the 2 week ago, which was the submission timeline for the in-packet memo. And this is basically where we're at. More or less, we're on track along the lines of what we've said we were going to do. We have all the appraisals completed. We have a majority of the easements executed or on track to be executed. Actually, I think we have a majority of them executed and a larger majority on track to be executed. We have had one hearing at the court, and that went well. We have the next date due to a vacation for the judge is a little bit later than we would have wanted, August 19th, but we have a fairly large chunk of time there that we hope to address several different issues. Procurement's moving along about as well as we had hoped. I don't have all of the purchases made yet, but we expect to be following along the timeline that we had previously specified, which was having basically all of them secured by the middle of April, early April, not April, August. Construction is moving at pace and accelerating. The new contractor, which is called ACT, has opened construction on, I think, 5 different fronts already, and they have another 2 that they're going to be working on starting next week. So just rapid acceleration in that, and as anybody who's involved in this kind of thing knows, that's where the money gets spent very quickly. I'm happy to answer questions.
Go ahead, Chair Locke.
So you said you had one hearing and it went well. What does went well mean? Did you get the easement? Did construction get to proceed?
No. So the first hearing is basically, you've given service to the person, and they have a chance to show up, and then they have to be able to respond. And so the next hearing is where we would expect action to be taken.
So for phase 1, are all of the easements that need to go to court, have they been filed for that at this point?
All of them are in the process of being filed. I wouldn't say that they've been filed yet, but they're moving forward.
We're certain they can get in front of the judge when the judge gets back, you said August 19th?
We believe so, yes. I'm not the attorney, so I'm just parroting the words that she seems confident that we're doing fine.
Is the delay with the, you didn't know the judge's schedule, or she didn't know the judge's schedule, will that delay affect your accelerating pace of construction?
No.
Will we find a point where like, oh no, we've constructed as much as we can without these easements?
No, we've got a lot left to do, and I don't expect it to cause a problem.
Anyone else? Ms. Vanish, there or not?
Thank you. The ones that are pending signature, are those pending signature from agreeable signatories, or are those pending signature and should you find out that the signatures are not forthcoming, those will need to be taken to court?
So when I refer to something that way, that means that the property owner has indicated that they intend to sign, and they're in the process of it, or there's multiple parties that they're organizing to sign. So that's what I mean by that. That means that it's seems like a very agreeable landowner, and we don't foresee any obstacles in that process. We have others that are not listed in that batch who are, generally positive, but they haven't committed to signing at that point. There's always a possibility that they could have a last-minute change of heart or something like that until it's actually signed. So it's worthwhile to make the distinction, but usually those go through.
Shell, go ahead.
Of the remaining 16 that aren't, do you expect those to have to go to court, or?
No, I expect most of them to, almost all of them eventually come to resolution through just, old-fashioned meeting of the minds. We have had one or two people who've expressed some negativity, but for the most part, it's a fairly positive experience.
Thank you.
Seeing no further questions, I guess you are done, Mr. Folk. I do want to add, and we don't want to really have any additional discussion, but I sent you an email this afternoon. If you could get back with me tomorrow about that, I would greatly appreciate it.
Yes, I actually do have an update on that topic. So that's related to
You can be brief, yes.
the
that's fine.
VCHAP section that I don't know why I forgot about it in the report. So what we were waiting on there was word from the city of Champaign about their funds that they were going to join with this project. We have word from them as of yesterday, actually, that that is moving forward, and we have a few more probably weeks of back and forth with that, but it is expected to move forward at a pace that won't jeopardize anything.
All right, thank you. If you would, could you please contact the director of the Housing Authority to make sure she's updated? She seemed unaware of some of that, so
okay,
that would be very much appreciated.
100%.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, are there any discussion about the reallocation of ARPA funds? Seeing none at this time, we move on to communications from the board. Mr. Farney.
I actually have a point of order. The motion to table is tying the hands of a future board. This board reorganizes in December. You're not allowed to do that.
Didn't we say July? Or like the next meeting?
It was tabled to July of 2027, which is improper.
County Executive, may I speak?
I do say that I don't know if that quite qualifies as tying the hands of a future board. It brings it up to a future board. I would want to get some, I would probably contact the state's attorney regarding that, but Ms. Figueroa-Dixon, if you want to make a
The
comment as
future
well.
board, when it moves, it'll still be the same people sitting.
No, there's an election coming up, so people will be changing places.
There's new people running down
Yeah.
in districts 1 and 2. Yeah.
Yes. Go ahead, Chair Locke.
There is a procedure that we could do where we could reopen the vote, change the amendment, and we could reopen we could. I think it's a motion to rescind. If I have like 2 minutes to Google, I could find it. But I think we can rescind this vote and then reopen the floor for discussion, perhaps reopen for a different table date within this board's term, which would be November of this year. Or there is an argument that, like, if we were here in November, would we never be able to table something? Like, if we had a motion in front of us in November that we didn't want to discuss, December's another board. Like,
That's the point that I'm a little fuzzy on. Mr. Sollard, go ahead.
Yeah, I think I'd also defer to State's Attorney's Office on this as well, but keeping a thing on the table doesn't tie hands. They can still take it off the table. I don't believe that does tie future boards' hands under the definition, the way you're thinking about it. I would defer to the SAO's office, but that's my 2 cents on it.
Ms. Arias.
Wouldn't that be the argument for any type of table? Any type of tabling would tie the hands in that case, or? Right, but if you were to table it to another term any other type of tabling. Okay.
Chair Locke.
Before I go, I see that Michelle had her hand raised.
I was just going to ask, what's the process to take something off the table? Like, is that a separate?
Ms. Ayers' tabling gave a specific date of the July 2027 board meeting, which means it would need to be on our agenda in July 2027.
And that's the only option?
Right now, that's what was voted on. Or we could just debate this and vote this up or down tonight and be done with it.
Chair Locke.
Sorry, I just turned that off. It is a long night. All right. If the meeting is still ongoing, any member who voted with the prevailing side can move to reconsider the vote. This requires a second and a majority vote to pass. So how that would work is I voted with the majority. I would move to reconsider the vote. If somebody wants to second that, then we could go through. It reopens as though the vote didn't happen, and then we can go through however it is. Because I want it to be clean, because I want us to deal with everything in front of us properly, I voted with the prevailing side. I move to reconsider the vote on the vote to table resolution number 2026-164. I move to reconsider.
We have a motion. Is there a second? Ed? There is a motion and a second then.
Point of inquiry, does the second also have to be from the prevailing side?
It doesn't say that it has to be from, if anybody from the prevailing side would like to second, I'm sure Mr. Sexton will give up his second.
Right. We now have a motion and a second to rescind, reconsider. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Pose same sign.
Nay.
I believe the ayes had it. I will go with that. I don't think it's necessarily required to be a roll call.
For clarity, Mr.
All right.
Summers, can
all
we
right.
please?
Could we please have a roll call vote on this? This is to rescind, reconsider the previous vote on agenda item Z.
Cowart.
Nay.
Esri.
Yes.
Vardy.
Yes.
Fava.
No.
Figueroa Dixon.
No.
Hanover Friedman.
Yes.
Lokshin.
No.
Pugh.
Yes, let's close it.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
Shell.
No.
Settles.
No.
Sexton.
Yes.
Sollard.
No.
Vantage Theornot.
No.
Wiggs.
No.
Wilson.
Yes.
Harris.
No.
Cagle.
Yes.
Locke.
Yes. The noes have it.
I was incorrect. The noes have it. So the motion fails.
Are we back to public comment? Yeah.
Yes, go ahead, Ms.
Thanks.
Rodriguez.
I just need to apologize to my Republican colleagues. I incorrectly assumed that the boos were coming from this side of the table. I also can't see everybody's faces, but during public comment, but that was not. I just want to confirm it was not from your side.
All right, since we are not reconsidering, I think it stands as is. We can try and get an opinion from the state's attorney's office regarding to the validity of it. That's about the best path forward that I can come up with at this point, since this is the vote that we've had. So, all right. Further communications from the board. Ms. Figueroa-Dixon.
I would just like to say thank you, and I appreciate the nomination from, I believe, Chair Locke. I am excited to work with you all. I am excited to take this seat and change the energy. I would like to thank all of the people that came out to support me. Number one, my Graham, thank you for the flowers too. I'm really excited that you're able to see me get this done. For the board moving forward, I just hope that we all can work together, like what was said in public comment. Any bad blood that was done before from this seat, I hope it's a clean slate. I hope that we all can work together maturely. I would like to also say thank you to Samantha for your help. I know right now we probably aren't at the best of terms, which is very unfortunate, but I do see that you did a good job in this seat, and I hope to, when it comes to the work, just fulfill your shoes in a very noble and humble way. And that's all I would like to say. Thanks.
Thank you. Mr. Pugh.
Thank you. As Mr. Craig Wake said earlier, the Peace and Love Barbecue will be at Douglas Park this Sunday from 1 to 6. Sorry, Craig Walker. Just had to say that, though. It is free. There is food. Usually the food starts about 3:30, but there are a lot of informational booths and other things going on there. There'll be bouncy houses. This one's going to be big. He's pulling out all the stops. I can't see what's there because it changes day to day. There will be backpack giveaways. Show up because it's just going to be a fun time on the north end. Thanks.
Chair Locke.
China, we're really happy to have you here, and I really look forward to that changed energy. Also, earlier this week, Executive Summers and I had an opportunity to attend the 10th anniversary celebration for the Housing Authority, RPC, and United Way's joint family shelter. You might recall we spent some money, some ARPA money, helping them renovate all of the apartments. So we got to take a tour of a vacant unit. And I have pictures if anybody on the board would like to see what it looks like inside. We don't want any families to experience homelessness or to be unhoused. This shelter is great. It's nice inside, it's clean, it's beautiful. And most importantly, it gives a place where complete families can still be together, or where fathers with children can be together, because we didn't have anywhere like that in the community before this existed. So I encourage anybody that's interested. I've got a picture, maybe one really bad video of what it looks like inside, and I'm really happy that this board was able to help out in even a small little bit.
Mr. Varney.
Community event that's coming up this weekend in St. Joe. It's the SJO 5K. It's Saturday morning at 7:30. You can register at sjo5k.net. It's a fantastic event. Runners, walkers, weather's going to be great, unlike last year when it was about 99 degrees outside. So come out and walk through St. Joe with us. It's a lot of fun. A lot of people actually just come to watch it and cheer for you. If you're a fat guy like me, when you're gasping for air near the end. So I wanted to mention that. I would like to see if we could ask for the sheriff to appear at one of our meetings very soon to explain his side of the flock issue. So I'd like to, this is a formal request, that we asked for the sheriff to be here to discuss Flock, the budget for Flock, what he does with information, what safeguards he has in place, things like that. So I think the public has made it very clear, and I share many of the same concerns that they have. It's actually one of the things that my son and I sit and discuss a lot of. So I would love to hear the sheriff's side of things. Since we didn't get a chance to really discuss it, one of the things that I think we need to have is our elected county auditor needs to be looking at the county clerk's office, especially the temporary employees. There are questions in the community about it. There are things that are in the lawsuits or the criminal case with his family that we need to just make sure that everything is being done properly in the county clerk's office. And right now, our auditor doesn't seem to have a whole lot to do, so I'd like to see him doing that. So I think it's an appropriate thing for the county auditor to be doing. And then finally, you know, I think you all know that I'm a pretty independent guy. I'll say what's on my mind, and sometimes people go along with me and some people don't. And I have to respond to comments that were made tonight by Mr. Walker, the only person I've ever had to have my attorney send a letter to tell him to stop making comments about me because they're untrue. You know, he likes to throw around that, oh, you're all MAGA people and things like that. Again, let's go back to that. I'm a pretty independent person. In 2020, the election that he's accusing everyone of, oh, you won't say who won. Okay, Joe Biden won. There you go, Craig, you got it. I ran for president that year, got 84 votes. I am not MAGA, okay? I am not MAGA. I filed as a write-in and I ran myself because I did not want to vote for either of those two candidates. I was a delegate for John Kasich. I was a delegate for Nikki Haley. I think I've made it pretty clear in this community, I'm my own person, and don't you dare group me with anyone. I'm tired of it. So I'm done sitting here and taking it. So when somebody says something about me, I'm going to say something about it. I'm going to respond. And tonight was the start of it. It's really nice for me that you know what? I'm taking care of myself. I just don't care. So if you come in and you say lies about me, fine, whatever. I did not vote in the Republican primary this year. Sorry, Jeff Brownfield. I didn't sign anybody's petitions. I am an independent. And if you want to mark me as an independent on this board, fine. I'm going to do what's right for St. Joe, for District 3, and Champaign County, and that's it. Tonight, this board did not do what's right for Champaign County. I didn't think the resolution would pass, but we should have at least debated it, brought it out here, and let the public hear what their elected officials think. We didn't do that tonight. And I'm sad that we didn't. We failed. Our job is to do these things in the public, and we did not do it. Thank you.
Any other board communications? Seeing none, Chair Locke, would you make the motion to enter closed session?
I will not, because I handed it over to Mr. Shell, our resident radio announcer.
Excellent. Mr. Shell.
True. I move that we enter into executive session pursuant to 5 ILCS 122C6 to discuss the setting of price for sale or lease of property owned by Champaign County. I further move that the following individuals remain present: Director of Administration Michelle Jett, Recording Clerk Angie Patton.
Is there a second? Mr. Parney. Okay, you second, okay, sorry. Second to Esri. Motion and a second.
I'm just going to note that that's not Angie Patton. As
What?
the recording secretary is not Angie Patton unless we're changing. I'm sorry, I did not see you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Does it need it? Does it? Do you do it or do? They vote and then I leave.
We will.
Okay.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right. Oh, excuse me. Roll call to close. There's so many roll calls in this. It's, yeah.
Cowart,
Yes.
Crane, or Esri,
Yes.
Farney,
Yes.
Fava,
Yes.
Figueroa Dixon,
Yes.